Tom Johnson in Daily Life. How are you doing? Today's Wednesday. That was a terrible introduction, I'm sorry. I still haven't got it down right. But I will. I'm supposed to say hello YouTube and welcome to the Daily Life. I'm your host, Tom Johnson. I'm sure I'll get that at some point. Anyway, today is Wednesday, January 15th, 2014. I'm glad that you decided to take some time out of your day to spend with us here at Daily Life. We really do appreciate it. I'm going to plug as I've been plugging all week and will continue to plug today and tomorrow. Mark the 17th of January on your calendar right now. I want a big audience that day. It's going to be a celebration here at Daily Life. Our 50th show. And boy, do we have a lot of cool things in store for you. You're not going to recognize it. It's going to be a different Daily Life that day. So mark it and watch. And tell all your friends, coworkers, family to watch. It's this Friday at whatever time I post it. I was going to say it's this Friday at 8 p.m. or 11 a.m., but I just kind of post these whenever I feel like it in the day. So, anyway, okay. I've just wasted a minute and a half introducing myself and plugging my show. I guess it's time to talk about what I'm here to do. The business at hand, if you will. Today it's air travel. And I was looking through my lists of past shows, and I cannot believe that I have not done anything on flying or air travel or anything like that. So it's going to be a good show because there's lots to say about that. A lot of stuff that happens that I feel that I need to comment on. First of all, air travel starts when you get to the airport. Now, the airport I keep losing my train of thought. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn my phone off until I'm done with this show. This happened yesterday. It's happening again. But I assure you, my phone is shutting down so that I can focus. There we are. It's now off. So people can't bother me. Usually I don't mind being bothered, but it's hard to do a show. Anyway, so the airport. So you get to the airport and you get in line. And you stand in line. I did a show about standing in line, but this happens during air travel. For a long period of time, you have to go through your security stuff to get into the, what do they call it, the safe zone, the whatever zone, the zone where you've been past security. Then you can do some shopping. They got lots of shops for really overpriced souvenirs and stuff. You can do duty-free alcohol and tobacco too, and other duty-free souvenirs. You can waste a lot of money. Right. Then you get through security and you sit down. Now, I don't know, one thing about airports that they started to do, this is a big component of air travel, is waiting at the airport. They say you should get there 3 hours ahead for an international flight. And so you get there, you go through security in like 15 minutes, and then you stand and you sit down and you wait. Now, sometimes people are forced, because of weather and other things, to spend a lot of time in airports. And they used to have benches where you would wait. It was like a whole row of seats. And then what airports did was, hey, because people would sleep on them. And then I guess the beep 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 expletive, people at the airport said, hey, we can't have people sleeping on these benches. So what are we going to do? We're going to install armrests so the people have to sit up. If anyone who runs an airport is watching this, you should know that that was a dumb move. It pisses people off. It really does. People do not like having to sit up if they're tired. They want to go to sleep. It's hard to sleep standing. It's impossible to sleep standing up. It's hard to sit sitting down. Not able to speak today for whatever reason. Maybe it's because of the weather. The weather's been crappy all week. It's like that again today. Anyway, so let's say that by some miracle you actually get out of the airport and onto your plane. Then you have to watch the stewardesses go through their little, if you can hear a sound, it's just my printer turning on. I just wanted to let you know what that was. If you can't hear it, then just go on your daily life. Daily life, that's the title of this show. Anyway, so then you get on the plane, and the stewardesses, okay, first of all, the stewardesses come on, and they go through that routine where like they show you how to use a seatbelt, they show you how to like put on a life preserver. That's totally useless. I have used a seatbelt many, many times. I cannot think of anybody who has not used a seatbelt. Like, if you've never used a seatbelt, you probably live under a rock. And, I mean, who hasn't used a seatbelt? Literally everybody has been in a vehicle at some point. And unless your vehicle was made in 1958, you probably have a seatbelt. You do have a seatbelt in it because it's the law. And a life preserver. Who hasn't gone swimming or boating and had to put a life jacket on? I mean, if you haven't gone swimming or boating and had to put a life jacket on, you either A, don't have a life, or B, you're not doing it safely. So this is my plug for water safety. Always wear a life preserver. Or at the minimum, some kind of flotation device. I don't know. Be safe when you're out there on the water. Don't drink and boat. I often say don't drink and drive. You should not be drinking and operating boats too. And where I live, they actually have the police out on lakes in the summer to ensure that people aren't drinking and boating. It's just as dangerous than drinking and driving. But I digress. Then the captain comes on and he tells you about all this stuff of the flight. And I'm sitting back there thinking, this is not relevant to me. I don't understand what he's talking about. He's telling me how high we're going to be flying. That's interesting. I don't really care how high we're going to be flying. It is not my decision how high to fly the plane. It's his. I just want to know, where's my meal? I'm hungry. You were supposed to be feeding me now. It's 6 o'clock at night. Can I have my dinner now? Thank you. That's all I'm thinking about. So then you fly, and sometimes in the air they'll be like, we're going to try to make up time in the air. I don't understand that. If you can make up time in the air, why wouldn't you just fly? Obviously they're going to be flying faster. Well, why wouldn't you just fly as fast as you possibly could? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you can make up time by flying faster, why wouldn't you just fly as fast as you possibly can? Flying is terrible. People don't like it. There are crying babies. There are old people that stink up the bathroom. The seats are like this. They get smaller and smaller every time I fly, while people get fatter and fatter every time I fly. Fly as fast as you can. I want to get to where I'm going. And I want a meal. Is that too much to ask? I understand, not giving us a blanket. I can bring a blanket and a pillow. So if you want to charge me $6 or $8 for that, that's okay. You shouldn't be charging me for a meal, though. Where else am I going to eat? If I'm on a non-stop flight from, say, London to Los Angeles, I have to eat somehow. You should be obligated, airlines, to provide me with a meal. That's just my opinion. Because you don't even get a free meal on flights anymore. Occasionally, if it's a super long-haul flight, you will. But used to be, you could just fly from, like, New York to Chicago and they give you a meal. Anytime you flew, you get a meal, or at least you get a bag of peanuts or something like that. Not anymore. Anyway, I had planned to talk about a lot more things, but I got sidetracked. Such is life. Tomorrow, continuing with the travel theme of today, road trips. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow, you know that. If you've ever been on a road trip, it's a fun time. So I encourage you to tune in. And again, 50th anniversary celebration is on Friday. That's it for Daily Life today. I'm your host, Tom Johnson. We'll see you tomorrow.